Okay, so welcome back. Robin here. And today I guess I'm just gonna talk about Buffy. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, if you are unaware. It's a 90s and early 2000s show. And I'm specifically going to be talking about Willow Rosenberg. Keep in mind this will have spoilers for the entire show, so yeah. Don't watch it if you want to watch the show with no spoilers. But I'm basically going to be talking about how much I love her. And this is what my family has to endure every day. So, basically, to sum up, the show itself, it's about a girl named Buffy who gets called to be, like, the Slayer of demons. And throughout the series, she has a bunch of different evil things come out of her. She dies a couple times. And Willow, the character I'm going to be talking about, is her best friend. And she's one of the first queer gay women in, shows. It was really big back then. It's 1999. She's very smart and just overall great character. She's got magic. She's a witch. Okay, so as someone who actively practices, magic system just bugs me so much. Also, I lied. I'm probably not just gonna be talking about Willow. But the magic system bugs me so much. Like, half the time, they'll name gods that aren't even related to the domain. At some point, Willow wants to turn a man into a girl because she likes him and she's like, I don't want to have an identity crisis or whatever. So she tries to turn him into a girl, and she calls upon Hecate, the goddess of witches. You're supposed to call on like a goddess of love or femininity or something. Oh well. It's a show about vampires. So. But there's just so many things I'm confused about. I'll get to that near the end. If I figure out how, I'll put timestamps. But back to my favorite character, Willow. She's just great. She starts out being this like cute little nerdy girl. Doesn't understand social cues. She doesn't by the end either. But doesn't understand social cues. Very introverted. Scared of spiders, which is one of the few things I do not agree on. I love spiders. Just there, being her cute little self, helping when she can. She almost dies in episode 1 because Buffy tells her, hey, you should get out there. Go ask out a guy. She hasn't figured out she's gay yet. She figures that out in like season 4. And she goes to find a guy, and the guy ends up being a vampire, and she almost dies. One of the many times that she almost dies. She's also the only character other than Buffy that shows up in every single episode. Really interesting, don't you think? You probably don't, out of the 2 people that I know actually know about this channel. Anyways, so overall, just Season 1, her is very stereotypical. She's the nerdy girl. She's not very strong. She gets kidnapped a lot. She gets kidnapped by her internet boyfriend who turns out to be a demon, who becomes a robot and holds her hostage and wants to marry her. It's a whole thing. But, you know. And she's just cool with it, I guess? I don't know. But she very quickly learns that being friends with the Slayer probably isn't good for her safety. She loves Buffy. Buffy's her best friend. But then season 2 comes along. She dies in the Halloween special. And she becomes a ghost, and then she comes back to normal. Which is completely glossed over. Like, a very important character died and then resurrected themselves. That was such a big deal for Buffy, but oh no, when Willow does it, it's just a normal thing. As you can tell, I don't really like Buffy that much. She's cute, she's cool. Not like, God. She's there. She's got some, she's got a bit of a superiority complex. But Willow has the opposite. She thinks that she's the worst. And that starts from season 1. But in season 2, she meets their computer teacher, and she hangs out with the computer teacher a lot, and she's learning some witchcraft because, of course, I mean, she's like the weakest member of the group. Of course she'd want to be strong. But just her using magic is a huge plot point throughout the series. Her spell mess-ups cause horrible events sometimes. But I'll get to that later. Then Buffy's vampire boyfriend, who lost his soul because she slept with him, and who I hate, but I will probably have another episode on that. He kills the teacher. Willow has to become a teacher in her junior year for 6 months. Yeah. So that sucks for her. Then she ends up doing a spell to give Angel, the ex-boyfriend, a soul. Buffy kills him. Buffy's depressed now. She leaves everybody for a year. Buffy, not Willow. Willow cuts her hair and has a whole, like, I'm getting stronger now moment. Before Buffy comes back and they have to deal with her issues again because... That side plot was cool, but we'll get back to that maybe at some point. We learn in season 3 that Willow's parents suck, or her mom at least. Basically, her mom spends so little time with her that she didn't even realize that she cut her hair that was about this long to here. You don't notice your teenage daughter got a haircut despite seeing them every day for 6 months? Seems a bit, but, you know. Then her mom tries to kill her. Yeah. There's a whole spell thing, and, Willow and Buffy, but, you know, Buffy's always in danger, almost gets burned at the stake. and one of her witch friends turns into a rat to escape. She also uses Hecate. She should be using Pan to call upon, but can't nitpick, can you? I mean, at least they have kind of normal witchcraft rules. I mean, I can't turn someone into a girl. That would be hilarious. But I can't. I can't change someone's physical body. Actually, wait, no, I can. Not intensely, though. Never done it. So, no, I can't. But, like, spell-wise, summoning circles stuff generally doesn't interact physically. It can, though. And they do that a lot, so I can't nitpick because that's fantasy generally. Generally, not always. But Willow gets super into magic, does a bunch of really useful things for the Scoobies, which is their group. She cheats on her werewolf boyfriend that she got. Or she got a boyfriend named Oz. And then Oz turns out to be a werewolf. And then she cheats on her boyfriend, Oz, with another guy. And I know, not very gay of her. But that will come later. She gets invited to like 12 colleges. God, who's the villain? Oh yeah, they blow up a school. That happens. But after that, everyone, like, the school's blown up. Everyone thinks Willow's gonna disappear to England. She doesn't. She decides to go to college in UC Sunnydale and transition to season 4. Willow does a lot of cool things in season 4. She's kind of just there for a little bit. She does some cool magic stuff, some cool hacking stuff. They figure out about this thing called the Initiative, so she gets to do a lot of hacking because that's a government institution. So she hacks into, like, government database stuff. But basically, her werewolf boyfriend cheats on her with a werewolf girl. She feels bad about it. She almost does a revenge spell. But then Oz kills werewolf girl. Almost kills her, and then decides, no, I feel bad that I'm a werewolf. I'm gonna leave without telling my girlfriend. I never forgave him. But basically, from there, there's a lot of very sad Willow. She gets drunk, which is funny because you'd think that she wouldn't be the first character of the Scoobies to get drunk, considering she's the most not normal. Oh my god, I forgot a really big part of season 3. Okay, so as you can tell, these are very unedited. In season 3, Willow meets this vengeance demon named Anya. And accidentally summons herself from a universe where she's a vampire. And Vampire Willow is very obviously gay. It's a whole thing. Season 3 is surprisingly queer for having no canonically queer characters yet. Like, Buffy and the Slayer, and the new Slayer, because Buffy died, so therefore a new Slayer got called, whole thing. They have a lot of tension, and then one of them goes evil, so, she has to go into a coma now. You know, just normal things that can happen. And Willow and Vampire Willow a lot happens, and Willow realizes that Vampire Willow is very much queer. And it's just, it's a whole thing. But from there, not much really happens. Vampire Willow dies, sadly. But, you know. But in season 4, Willow does magic. Oz leaves. She gets drunk. Because she's depressed and has been since season 1. But obviously that kind of sent her over the edge. And she tries to join a Wicca group to help out. If you don't know, Wicca is like kind of new age witchcraft type stuff. I'll probably have a whole video on it later. And judging by my upload schedule, probably like a year. Ooh, maybe I should do that on my birthday. Hey, 2 people that follow me, what would you guys think about a birthday special? Answer in comments, I guess? I don't know. If there's comments or likes, I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, back to Willow. She joins a Wicca group, and she meets this girl named Tara. If you can't tell, keep that name in mind. It's important for the next, in the next 2 paragraphs of whatever I'm gonna say. So she meets Tara, and one of the time she was trying to forget about Oz, and she caused such a mess up with her spells that she got offered a job as a vengeance demon by D'Hoffryn. I'll show you my Furby D'Hoffryn later. But, she gets offered a job as vengeance demon by D'Hoffryn. Keep in mind, that's important for later, remember. But that happens. But she meets Tara, and things start feeling good again, because they had a trauma moment. Because a bunch of demons made it so that no one could speak. And so they had to hide in a closet and push a vending machine in front of the door so they wouldn't die. And that's how they figured out they both were actual witches. They both left the Wicca group because it was just bake sales. Which, believe it or not, is actually really common. Did you know that? Like, witchcraft, Wicca circles or whatever, a lot of them don't even do real magic. They just talk about, like, the power of Gaia, and, we have to trust in the powers or whatever, and bake sale. Not making fun. I am making fun. But I'm completely cool if you choose that lifestyle. Just maybe confirm that you're not doing witchcraft, because I've had too many experiences of thinking that people are doing witchcraft and then they turn out to not believe in that stuff. But anyways, so Tara and Willow start hanging out. Willow refuses to tell any of her friends that Tara exists, because no one else is hanging out with her because they're all in their own relationships. And she's like, I just want something for me. And Tara's completely cool with that. And then then they hang out a lot. They do a bunch of spells together. It's super sweet. Right? It's just, And as you can tell, this feels queer, right? And Willow finally gets the courage to introduce Tara to the gang. And of course, that's when Faith, the evil slayer, wakes up, switches bodies with Buffy, and then all hell breaks loose, essentially. And nobody, and like it ruins the first meeting of Tara. But then the next day they're cool. They fix things, right? They managed to introduce each other. Like they managed to introduce Tara to the group, right? It works out fine. And then of course, because Willow can't have one moment of goodness in her life, Oz comes back. This piece of shit, Oz, comes back. And when I tell you I almost chucked my phone at the screen. But anyways, so Oz comes back. Tara feels really sad. Willow's having an identity crisis because she's like, I don't have feelings for Oz anymore. Oh shit, I'm in love with Tara. Basically, lots of identity crisis stuff. And she comes out to Buffy. Buffy panics, but then is fine because, you know, you see demons. You think someone coming out as gay is gonna panic you? Unless you're, like, super fundamentalist Christian. In a bad way. I know that maybe some of you guys, one of the two people, might be a fundamentalist Christian. I think both of you are chill with gay people, though. Anyways. So, Oz wants to get back with Willow. Willow says no because she's realized that, oh my god, she's in love with Tara. And then Willow goes to Tara's dorm. And Tara thinks that Willow is going to break up with her. Which they weren't together technically, but you know. And instead they kiss. I cried. I loved it. Oh. But they have to fight the big evil of the season. Tara's not involved in that, actually. Tara's not in the 4th season that much, despite it being her debut season. But she, but Willow, Buffy, and Giles and Xander. Giles and Xander are 2 other members of the Scoobies. Giles takes care of Buffy, essentially. And Xander's just there. He's the dude that Willow cheated on Oz with. They're friends. So basically, they all go and kill the big bad of the season, who's a cyborg. But in doing so, they mess up the whole Slayer bond magic thing. And they all end up having disturbing nightmares where they all die. And Willow's is really sad. Like, they come back. They don't die for good because there's 7 seasons, and if the main character died in season 4, that would be messing up the 7 seasons. But Willow's is really sad because it's a nightmare about how she's secretly just worthless or something. Like, she's like, oh my god, I feel worthless. I'm gonna die. It was a whole thing, and I did cry at someone's weird dream sequence. Also, there's a weird thing about a play in theater class. She never joined theater. But anyways, season 5 rolls around, and poof, Buffy has a sister now. Not as in she wasn't introduced until now. No, she didn't exist until now. She's 14. She's 14 and just randomly starts being there. How'd she get there? She was like some magic key thing to open a portal. It's important at the end of the season. But Buffy has to protect her and all. Willow uses magic a lot in this season. Not as much as in season 6. But in season 5, lots of magic. Tara and Willow are like doing cute little spells together. Also, Tara had a whole family issue. Her family thinks she's gonna become a demon when she turns 20. Didn't actually happen. They were lying and they were jerks. But oh well. But basically, that whole thing rolls over. Willow and Tara do spells. Willow is, again, the sweetest girl. I love her. But she and Tara get into a fight. And Tara gets her mind stolen by the new big bad named Glory. Now, Willow doesn't like the fact that Tara is insane now. So, what does she do? She goes and starts using dark magic, which is like this whole evil magic thing. In real magic, it doesn't exist. Seriously. Dark magic and light magic are a very binary thing. It's really a spectrum, and your own morals really decide it more than the actual spell abilities themselves. Like selfish stuff that you feel is selfish would be more in dark magic, like black magic. Which, yeah. But anyways, so Willow goes and fights a god. She loses, but she does get some pretty good hits in the god. Like, she actually manages to harm her, which is something that Buffy couldn't do. And Buffy's supposed to be the strongest, right? Plot twist, Buffy is definitely not the strongest. But, you know. But that happens. Sadly, Tara's mind is not back because Willow fighting a god didn't actually affect that. But throughout the rest of the season, almost every time you see her, she's using magic. She does a lot of stuff to make sure that Glory pays for what she did. She uses like protection circle stuff. Everyone's trying to kill Dawn, the sister, because without the key, Glory can't open the creepy portal thing. That's what her goal is, and it will destroy the world. Hence why she's the villain. She's also crazy. She's kind of iconic. I might put a picture of her as the cover thing, like the thumbnail. I might try and put a picture of Willow as the thumbnail, though. We'll figure it out. But, yeah. So, Buffy goes into shock because Glory, the god, kidnapped Dawn. And she's gonna die. So, Buffy kind of like regresses or whatever, and Willow has to use mind magic to go into her head and save her. And it works. Willow is the first person to do it accurately, like in an actual working way. I'm sorry, my allergies. But so since Willow's the first one to do it in an actual working way, that's super important, but she doesn't care She just wants Tara to be normal again. Or, Tara's mind back. So, she drills a hole into Glory's head and restores Tara's mind, which is super sweet. But then she's incapacitated for the rest of the fight, sadly. The fight would have gone a lot differently. But Buffy sacrifices herself for Dawn. Everyone's sad. Now, cut a year later. Willow's made a robot of Buffy so that people don't know that she's gone. But for some reason, she still has a grave. Very confusing. And she and Tara and Xander and Anya, the Vengeance Demon, has now joined them. Oh yeah, also Anya and Xander are apparently getting married at this point. No one knows but them. And they're just kind of there. They all decide to bring back Buffy from the dead, which should not be possible. It's only possible because she died from magic. So Willow manages to resurrect Buffy. So Buffy's come back for a second time now. And this time, apparently, she was in heaven. And so Willow accidentally ripped her out of heaven, and it's really sad. It's just... Oh, and Willow has kind of... magic has almost kind of become an allegory for drug use. So Willow does magic a lot. Like, I know I've said that twice now. But this time I mean it, like, as a lot. And, Tara notices. But doesn't know what to do. She doesn't realize it's as bad as it is. But they bring Buffy back. Obviously, she doesn't tell anyone that she, came back from heaven, because Willow's so happy that she's back, and Willow's feelings are the most important thing. And that's not me being sarcastic, they are. Because if her feelings are hurt, the world might end. Not at this point, though. That's a spoiler for later. Willow and Tara start having relationship issues because Willow keeps using magic way too much. She figures out Xander and Anya are getting married, and she immediately starts using magic to make their wedding party, like, beautiful. But Tara's like, oh, you can't do that. That's hurting you. And it's a whole thing. And they have a big argument. But then Willow uses magic to make Tara forget their argument. Now, in this season, I feel so bad for Tara. Because Tara loves Willow. And Willow's going down this dark path, and it's just really sad. But eventually, Tara, and Willow break up because because Tara figures out about the resurrection spell, and then, not resurrection spell, about the, what was it? About the memory spell, and then Willow tries to use the memory spell again, and it ends up, like, ruining everything, so they break up. And then Willow's magic goes way out of the park. You remember Amy from season 3 that I mentioned once? Well, Willow's been keeping her as a rat this whole time, trying to turn her back, and she finally manages to. Um, and so now Amy and Willow, like, keep going out and doing magic together. And at this point, it's not like how when Tara and Willow were doing magic. They were doing it just, like, wholesomely. She goes to a drug dealer, essentially. Whole thing. And it's just Willow getting worse and worse. And then one day she goes to take Dawn to, like, the movies or something because she's feeling like it's a good day. And then she goes and stops by the dealer first. And she accidentally summons a demon because she's on drugs, essentially. And Dawn almost dies. She almost dies. Buffy's mad at her. Now she's trying to quit, right? So they threw out all the magic items in the house. Trying to help Willow stop using. But then, and she cuts off all ties with Amy. But then Amy comes back and gives her magic, which makes Willow freak out. She's already going through a tough spot. But she manages to get through it. And she goes to Anya and Xander's wedding, and she sees Tara there. And they actually seem to be having fun, right? And then Xander has a whole moment where he's like, I'm leaving you at the altar with Anya. It's a whole really sad wedding thing. And then both Anya and Xander just fall off the face of the earth for, like, most of the rest of the season. Willow goes to ask Tara maybe if she wants a coffee to talk about things and try and make it right, or at least explain, hey, I'm doing better. You don't have to worry about me anymore, right? But she gets the wrong idea because she sees Tara with another girl. The other girl is just a friend from class. And Tara doesn't see this, but they do manage to go out. And they see each other again, and they're just having such a sweet time. And then at the end of the episode, they're just like, we need to build up communication, but can we just skip that for the moment and be happy for a day? And it's so sweet. And then they have an episode where they're happy for a day. And guess what happens at the end of the episode? Tara dies. Which, again, made me cry. And Willow is also very sad about this, obviously, and she relapses. She goes to the magic box, which is, like, it's a magic shop. And she gets all the books on dark magic and, like, takes all the magic from them, and there's this moment where there's just, like, a pentagram on her forehead. Super cool thing. But now she's evil. She's really upset. She goes to kill the guy. Okay, so basically this dude named Warren tried to shoot Buffy, and he shot Buffy, and then he accidentally managed to shoot Tara directly in the chest. Yeah. So she goes, saves Buffy's life, and then immediately goes to hunt down Warren. And Buffy's like, no, Willow, you can't kill people. It's wrong. As if Buffy hasn't killed, like, multiple people. But Willow is all after vengeance. And then she goes and gets that vengeance, right? And she rips him apart. It's a moment that I don't want to sound like I loved it. But I loved it. He deserved every moment of that. You'll have to watch the show to figure that out. Or just look up Willow Kills Warren on YouTube. Just do that if you want to just see that scene. But basically, she goes after his friends later, but Buffy tries to protect them. And she has almost defeated Buffy. And then Giles jumps in and uses magic to, like, blast her away. And then she has a whole fight with them. And then she steals Giles's magic, which is going to kill him, probably. Anyways, because of all that, she now can feel everything, and she feels, like, all the pain in the world, and makes her so upset that she decides that the world should end. Because that's a rational decision, but obviously she's not thinking rationally because she's on drugs. And she almost ends the world, and the only reason she doesn't end the world is because she decides not to. Literal God can't defeat literal God didn't get close to that apocalypse. The original evil in the next season didn't get anything close to that apocalypse. Willow only didn't end the world because she decided that she didn't want to anymore. And then she's all, like, sad, and she goes to England to magic rehab. And she gets this whole thing of realizing that if she has, like, a legitimate tie to Sunnydale, she has a prophecy thing where the doors of hell are gonna open or whatever. Whole moment. Actually a lot like Carmilla. Anyways, there's references. So, season 7, Willow, the first few episodes were boring. Willow was barely in them. Obviously, not my thing. I love her, and that's the reason I watch the show. So, the moment that Willow comes back, she panics because she's like, I don't think I'm ready to see them again yet. And by them, she means all the people she almost murdered, which is Buffy, Xander, Dawn, Anya. Those people. Giles went to England with her and hasn't come back. And she manages to get back, but she accidentally makes it so that she has a little pocket dimension where she's just invisible, essentially, at the moment. And she almost dies. But Anya realizes Anya can see her, and Anya saves her life, which was super sweet and felt a little bit gay. Just a little bit. By a little bit, I mean a lot. Anya literally admits to being attracted to Willow. But it's okay, that's never brushed over again, apparently. The only thing they have in common is that they were once in love with Xander. Anyways. So there's just the normal episodes. Willow uses that pact with DeHoffrin, the Vengeance dude, to make Anya human. Because Anya became human earlier and then turned back into a Vengeance demon. It's a whole thing. Very confusing plotline. And essentially, it works, but one of Anya's close friends dies, sadly. But that happens, and now they figure out who the villain of the season is. The First, aka the original evil. Pretty underwhelming villain. Can look like dead people. Is killing off all the potential Slayers. Because there's a whole thing about Slayer lineage. So, of course, the smart action is to take all of the potential Slayers to the Hellmouth, which is where all of them live. Like, the entrance to Hell. And just have them live there. In extreme danger. But, you know. Oh well, I guess? But basically, she, obviously Willow sees the First as Tara. Or not Tara, but someone claiming that they can reunite her with Tara. Obviously, if you can see where this is going, it's a whole thing, like, the First tries to manipulate her. It doesn't work, because Willow knows that Tara would never say that to her. And overall, the season for Willow is just her being really messed up. Because okay, so she's just been through all of this trauma. Over and over and over and over. Who wouldn't be messed up? And she ends up actually being really useful. She gets with this girl named Kennedy, who I don't have anything against Kennedy. A lot of the fandom does. But I don't have anything against Kennedy. I do feel like she was only made to be Willow's rebound, though. It wasn't done very well. I think they should have given her a relationship with another actual developed character. Because basically all we know about Kennedy is that she's mean and a lesbian. And she's a potential Slayer. But basically, just a lot of stuff happens. Willow ends up turning all of the potential Slayers into Slayers. Meaning they all gain special abilities. Also, my favorite potential Slayer dies. Which is sad. She was Dawn's friend. In my opinion. Bit more than friends. But, you know. There's a whole thing. Oh yeah. Anya dies, sadly. She didn't deserve to die how she did. And the Hellmouth blows up. Every living character escapes. But, Tara's grave was there. Just a thought. But, yeah. Willow's just all over got a bad life. She got a neglectful childhood. Like, she got a bad childhood. She was bullied by everybody, and she was depressed. And her parents neglected her. She finally gets new friends. Like, she finally gets a new friend that she hasn't known since kindergarten. And then immediately almost dies, and one of her old friends actually dies. And also, she's just learning that vampires existed. She gets kidnapped. She gets kidnapped again. Her best friend dies and resurrects, and then leaves her. She gets kidnapped again. Someone knocks her out and kills one of her friends again. She gets a boyfriend. Her boyfriend turns out to be a werewolf, which is traumatizing, honestly. And now she has to babysit him, essentially. She gets kidnapped again. Her boyfriend leaves her after cheating on her. She gets kidnapped again. A lot more things happen in season 4. Like, she has to kill a lot of people. The person that she considers as, like, a daughter to her, Dawn, almost dies. Her best friend actually dies. She brings back said best friend. Actually, wait, no, we have to go back. Her girlfriend loses her mind. Her girlfriend gets back her mind, but now her best friend's dead. She brings her best friend back and figures out that she tore her out of heaven. And just over and over and over, just so many horrible things. Oh yeah, also, forgot to tell you about this. Meet D'Hoffrin. Look at him. He doesn't work. He's a dead Furby. I gave him a little cicada earring thing. But yeah. Also, I gotta show you this cool new thing. Oh no, my cicada. I gotta show you this cool. So you see all that? The cicada shells. I have 9 cicada shells. Isn't that cool? But yeah. And we found this. So, I guess. Let's see if I can make an outro look. This is Robin, signing off.